Welcome, everyone. Hope you're having a pleasant day, pleasant night. I want to say welcome as we stream right now worldwide through YouTube. We are going to talk about a very important topic tonight. It's the miracle sugar for life. When I say the miracle sugar for life, we're going to explain more about this particular sugar that's going to give you an understanding, because we had so many people in our chat room the other night who came back who wanted to talk about this miraculous sugar, this D-ribose. So I said, we're going to do it. Hello, chat room. How are you? So let's talk about D-ribose, a great sugar. And people are saying, well, what is this? Now, we think of sugars as like glucose, sucrose, lactose. These sugars that are metabolized, that increase the insulin from the pancreas, that allow sugars to be absorbed into the cells to give us energy, ATP, adenosine triphosphate. So if we look at this glucose molecule, this ribose molecule, not glucose, let's just talk a little bit about ribose. If you've heard of DNA, and DNA is the big thing today. DNA is, that's the imprint of our fingers, of our cells. That you can't escape from that. Everyone has different DNA. So we look for DNA, particularly in crime. The first thing they talk about, crime, sex, babies, gender. Is it my baby? So DNA testing is done worldwide. So ribose, if you've heard of DNA, you've heard of ribose, but you might not have really heard exactly what it is. So I'm going to tell you the importance of this sugar. Deoxyribose nucleic acid, or what we call DNA, contains DNA and RNA. And these are the building blocks of our genetic codes, what makes us up. Now, ribose is a monosaccharide, a simple sugar. It's a reducing sugar. It's found in every cell within our body. So besides carrying this genetic information, this ribose is important in the production of what we call ATP. ATP is the energy. That is, triphosphate? This is the energy in all the cells of our body. Now understand that, certain cells like our liver cells may have a certain percentage of this DNA, of this particular ATP, the mitochondria, which we're going to talk about, and other cells have different amounts, but it fluctuates throughout the body. But the bottom line is, in order for the body to produce energy, you must have mitochondria that produces ATP. I'm not going to go into the biochemistry, but let's just briefly look at this mitochondria here. And the mitochondria is what produces this miracle. And in order for it to produce this miracle, we need to sometimes supplement this D-ribose, because this is what the body produces. Now, I'm going to talk a little bit about this because I'm going to read a few studies, but I'm going to kind of skim it real quick so you can give it a better understanding. We can take these in powder form, in pills and capsules, which I'll go into the end. Now, realize this topic is primarily fibromyalgia, which we just touched on the other night, chronic fatigue syndrome, and all heart pathologies. I'm talking about like coronary problems. We're talking about heart attacks. We're talking about lack of blood supply to the heart. And it's been known through studies that this has prevented, believe it or not, this has helped people live much longer lives after heart attacks. So we'll talk about this. I'm going to kind of skim around because I have a lot to show you. But let's talk briefly about bodybuilders. People who are in sports. Now, what this is basically doing, this is increasing energy in your body. So as lactic acid is being thrown out of the cells or being built up in the cells, this D-ribose is not producing as fast as people are breaking it down. So therefore, we continue to feel weak and fatigued. So just take that for what it's worth. I'm going to kind of skip around a little bit because this is a very difficult program to really get it all out in a short period of time. But I want to go ahead and state a couple of things. We talk about this D-ribose. And the reason why I want you to understand about this particular sugar, this is a 5-carbon sugar. This is not table sugar. Now, I want people to understand this. This is not sugar like in corn sugar, like glucose. This is not table sugar like sucrose. This is not the milk sugar in like lactose. This is not honey, which is mainly made up of fructose. This is not like the other sugars used as fuel. I want you to understand that. That's very important about this. These sugars are consumed, and with the help of oxygen that we breathe in, obviously, they're burned by the body to recycle energy. Now, because they're used excessively, they become toxic, that we talk about the buildup of lactic acid. But what's different than any other sugar is that this particular sugar is not being burned. It doesn't have calories, but this is the powerhouse, the energy molecule that produces the power, basically, that goes on in our heart, our muscles, and throughout our tissues. And this is a very key, important thing, because this particular sugar, this D-ribose, as we say, is a key molecule that makes up this ATP, which is that particular energy that's used to stimulate the metabolic pathways in our body that makes this vital compound. So when these cells and tissues become starved, what happens is we start losing the availability of this critical energy recovery. And so that's why we see lots of athletes, bodybuilders, triathlon people who are supplementing with this D-ribose that makes these people continue to burst with energy and continue to fulfill their dream. But I want you to understand, we talk about briefly, and I'm going to move around here. Let's go over here. We talk about heart health. We talked about coronary arteries. We talk about starvation of oxygen, which we call a heart attack. We talk about necrosis of areas, and they found that people who were getting this D-ribose, it increased the energy. It prevented degeneration, because when we have degenerative muscle, which is cardiac muscle, the muscle just kind of shrivels up and dies. But by having D-ribose and supplementing this has helped people's hearts become healthier. So this is something good that you need to share with those people who have heart trouble. This is like a miracle thing. There are so many studies out there. It like blew my mind. I'm looking at these studies and said, you're kidding me. I never learned this stuff before. This is really deep, great nutrition. And I'm glad that someone really got me to do the research, because there's so much stuff here to share with you. Okay, so let's talk a little bit. We talk a little bit about heart health, and we realize that, people who are lacking blood supply are actually lacking energy, lacking the ATP, lacking mitochondria, because the mitochondria is the source of life and energy. And once the mitochondria die, the function of that particular cell dies, because it needs energy to stay alive. It needs energy to be healthy. So I wanted to go into a very important thing, and this is obviously a biggie that we talk about, this fibromyalgia, that when you have specific areas in the body of pain, and obviously fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue syndrome overlap a lot. And what happens is in fibromyalgia, this affects more sleeping patterns. Even chronic fatigue syndrome can, but fibromyalgia really affects pain patterns, tenderness patterns. They are attributed to, they don't know. So they treat these things like, take the antidepressants, take the Valium, take the painkillers, take the naproxen, the non-steroidal anti-inflammatories, take the sleeping pills, but that's not getting to the root of the problem, which can be quite dangerous. Now, there are many great alternatives that you can take. You need to look at our last video that we did on fibromyalgia. I really went into depth there, and I thought that would be important. So let me just go ahead and take a look here, that I wanted to share a few important things as I just bring up a few things on my screen that I wanted to share with you. But I want you to realize one thing about this particular condition. This D-ribose is like a magic miracle. When it comes down to that, as we talk about, as people's energy becomes diminished, they've found that the ATP, obviously the mitochondria, and within the cells, those areas are being affected. And by adding this D-ribose, you're stimulating the ATP. You're stimulating life. You're stimulating energy. And by stimulating energy, well, basically what happens in chronic fatigue syndrome is we lack energy. We lack lack growth. We just kind of like sleep away. So they have done numerous studies, chronic fatigue syndrome as well as fibromyalgia, by waking up the body, waking up the muscles, by stimulating the muscles, by giving the body something that potentially has been deficient and that doctors aren't finding. Instead of treating it the medical route, treat it the homeopathic, the holistic, the natural, the nutritious route of giving something your body produces, but in certain conditions or even diseases, your body can't produce it. So by supplementing it, which is so safe, there's like no side effects, but the only thing I want you to be concerned about is this particular D-ribose can lower blood sugar, meaning that if you are a diabetic and you are taking insulin, it's to your benefit because now you may have to take less insulin. So what I'm saying here is that if you are a diabetic or a pre-diabetic, you may be able to start taking D-ribose and have your sugar levels perfectly normal. I mean, that's a great thing. That's like a blessing. Figure that out. You don't have to be on insulin. You don't have to be on those oral tabs the rest of your life. D-ribose may be your answer. I'm just, throwing this out at you. Maybe you can communicate with your doctor. And if you are hypoglycemic, yes, you still need to be aware that if you're passing out, you're fainting, you need to know how to monitor the D-ribose because it can actually lower the sugar levels because D-ribose works along with insulin. But it's been known to lower sugar levels. Those are proven scientific data, and I think that is something good to know because most people, particularly here in America, are pre-diabetic, overweight. So that's a big key for you. So we look at fibromyalgia, okay, something that I believe that you guys can beat because there's nothing worse than being in chronic pain. I realize that, these conditions are going on underneath. And one day, the tip of the iceberg just seems to come out, and now you're getting all these pains, all these symptoms, and you're saying, well, where are they coming from? Why am I having all these pains? You're having these pains for a reason. But I always believe, hey, listen, I believe that nutrition is our soul, and everything works from within. If we don't feed it the right nutrition, those things on the outside are just going to just make us wither away over time. So we need to really kind of look into the source. And I want people to realize that when you have symptoms, I don't care if it's a neck pain or back pain or sciatica or radicular pain or herniated disc, those conditions are usually underneath that tip of the iceberg. You don't feel them until one day they just seem to come out. So when you have a heart attack, it's not just didn't happen. This has been going on until one day it just flares up, just like cancer or anything else, or those are just symptoms. So we're trying to get you to get our minds off our symptoms and trying to get our minds more internally into the cause, because we don't want to just erase symptoms, because that's not health. Health is optimal healing, and that's what we're looking for. So when we look at these particular things of chronic pains, people are asking, well, what do I do about it? I mean, how much do I take? What do I have to do? I just want to go over a few important things before I actually mention that, because I'm going to show you just a few different vitamins, what they look like, and then I'll tell you a little bit about the recommended dosage, because people are going to be asking me this. But just I wanted to mention one thing here. Chronic fatigue syndrome, fibromyalgia, regardless of what it is, you have to understand that you've got to fight. You can't just take the diagnosis of someone looking at you from your symptoms, start treating you like poison. You need to fight. You need to really stand up and do your homework. And people out there in the chat rooms, I respect all of you, honestly. You're good. This is what it takes to stay healthy. But when it comes to that, we're looking at, if it's acupuncture, massage therapy, chiropractic care, nutrition, meditation, being gluten-free, getting off those things that are causing your body to react and produce pain, restricting the omega-6s, the oils, a lot of the peanuts, no good. Those are inflammatory. Increasing omega-3s, very important. When we look at these D-ribose, this is a non-glycemic sugar. That means that it doesn't raise your blood sugar. I want people to realize that. People are asking me, well, I'm already diabetic. I don't want to raise my blood sugar. I don't want to take it. It's a non-glycemic blood sugar. It will not raise your blood sugar. Obviously, the body produces this particular sugar, as we talked about, making this ATP, which is the body's energy source. And with this D-ribose, what you're doing is you're supplementing the body. You're supplementing the body with energy so it can produce more on its own. It's like kind of filling the body's gas tank. This D-ribose is immediately ushered into the skeletal muscles. It's immediately rushed into the heart muscles so these muscles can work more efficiently. So that's very important you understand that, because this is adding to the body. It's helping the body. So people are asking me, what is the best type of D-ribose? Now, I'm not going to here to tell you what to buy or which is the best. There's so many different good D-riboses out there, but here's a powder. Here is a vitamin. Now you see here 5,000 milligrams. A lot of the studies will say to take 5 grams at one time. My gut feeling is 3 to 5 grams, give or take. You can start out lower and work your way up. You can see how you feel. I don't really think it's important to kind of jump into the heavy doses that they're trying to cure these things. If you're a type 2 diabetic, it's going to help you. It's going to lower your blood sugar. Watch, it will help you. It's proven. It shows what it does, and I'm excited for people who are type 2 diabetics. I'm excited for you because your doctors are never going to talk about this, because if you can take half the insulin or half the oral tabs, or maybe even get off of them by taking D-ribose, remember, this is not a sugar that's going to raise your sugar. This is different. This doesn't oxidize. This is not a glucose or lactose or sucrose. This is a different thing that your body produces on its own. This is not something that just metabolizes to get energy. This is giving you energy is what it's doing. So here's another powder here, D-ribose through Life Extension. Here's another vitamin here. Just want to let you know here. This is another company, D-ribose. And you notice 750 milligrams. Remember that 1,000 milligrams equals 1 gram. And a lot of the studies are saying up to 5 grams. But me, I would start out, 2,500, 3,000, maybe do it twice a day and monitor it. Give yourself a good 2 weeks. Okay, 2 weeks, about 12 to 14 days. Here's another company. Solgar is a very, very good company. You know what? You can read the literature on it. You can read the recommendations on the bottles. And, these are very good quality companies. And, do your homework. You can go on Amazon, walk in your vitamin shops, your Whole Foods, your natural places. I don't know where you are in the world because may not have these, but go to a decent nutrition store, do your homework, look on Google, and you see there's really no sugar. I mean, look, it's minute. Very, very little calories that you're taking. So this is approximately 2 grams, and we're getting calories of 9 calories. All right, just to give you an idea, because people are asking that question. So this is something that I really hope that you will do your homework and look into this. This is a very hard topic because it's biochemistry. I try to keep it as simple as possible to give you a good understanding. People don't talk about this. They're more concerned about trying to sell you things, trying to sell you their oils, trying to sell you their products. This is just knowledge, and your knowledge can take you a real far away. And this is what it's all about. I enjoy sharing knowledge, and it's rewarding. It makes me sleep real good, knowing that we're helping people. So share, all these videos. People, ask me, can I share? Can I take it? Just take the videos and share them. Do what you want to do. Help educate people. The more people we can reach, the more rewarded we're going to be in many ways, spiritually, mentally, physically. It helps us. If we want to help heal ourselves, we have to really look out for others, because that's what's going to help us heal quicker. Anyways, I really hope you enjoyed this. Leave your comments below. Check out Motivational Doc on Facebook. That's a kind of a gathering we're starting to put together now. People are asking questions. I try to get back as many as I can. I get many emails, and I seem to go there first. But most important, we'll continue to educate you. Leave your comments below, anything that you like for me to talk about in the future. We try to get around to it. And God bless. Okay, make it a great day. Bye-bye now.